This is Twinkie647 with another story that'll make you say, for real though? Down in Florida, there's a hot story going on, but it's not smoldering hot. The news have captured this story and they really haven't blown a big whistle on it. And I guess it's because they don't want the public to have a bad reaction to this story. Because when I read this story and I dug more and more into this story to find out more information, I got a bad taste in my mouth. Normally I try to keep my post under 7 minutes. I know a lot of people value their time, so I'm going to try to keep this one under 10 minutes. I know it's going to be rather long, but I need for you to feel the magnitude of my passion. First, let me give you the story that has been circulating in the news, and I'm just going to read one little blurb. In Marianna, Florida, teams of searchers recovered human bones from the sands of Florida Panhandle woodlands on Saturday and a Boot Hill graveyard where juveniles who disappeared from a notorious reform school more than a half a century ago are believed to have been secretly buried. When I first read that part of the story, there was a chill that went down my spine, so I felt the need to go ahead and research this story for you. I wanted to know more, and I'm sure you wanted to know more too, so let me first start off by giving you a little info about the school.
At the now-closed Dozier School for Boys in Marianna, Florida, is a little clearer thanks to researchers at the University of South Florida. The USF research team disclosed their findings in a report and shared the results with media and family members at a press conference Monday. The report details at least 19 more graves than originally documented at the cemetery, located on the northwest side of the campus, known as Boot Hill.
Not all of the burials are accounted for. We found that records indicate 45 individuals were buried on the school grounds, 31 were shipped home to families or buried in other locations, and 22 remain unknown. Throughout, the historical records are incomplete and often provide conflicting information. When the cause and manner of death is recorded, although it's not in most cases, but when it is, the leading causes of death are infectious disease, fires,
The school was started in the 1900s. Well, to be exact, it was started January 1st, 1900. When it first opened in the 1900s, it was first ran by a group of 5 commissioners. In 1914, the governor took over that position and appointed a cabinet in the state of Florida as the board of commissioners over the reform school at the time. They changed the name of the school to the Florida Industrial School for the Boys, and in 1957 they changed it to the Florida School for Boys. In 1967 they changed the name again to the Arthur G. Dozier School for Boys in honor of a superintendent that was there. In the 1968 to be exact, the Florida governor at the time, Claude Kirk, he came to the prison himself. He walked in and looked at everything himself, and he was just appalled by the conditions that was going on. He said that it was overcrowded to a maximum, and the conditions were so poor that somebody should have blew the whistle on this type of atrocity a long time ago. What atrocities did he speak of? The campus was big enough to hold 109 students, but at the time it held 567. A lot of these kids were sent there for crimes such as talking back, running away, trespassing, school truancy, and they were sent there to actually do a significant amount of time. A lot of these boys was taken away from their homes and they were beat daily. They were being raped. They would talk, they would tell, but no one would hear them. No one would really speak to them and ask them what their issues was. We have a few survivors' stories. I want you to see this.
So now children come down, they come to see the crime. He tell Godfather tell them they ran away. We ain't said we were looking for him. They got in the woods in a hole. They actually killed people out there. They got away with it. Hey, I don't think he got away with it.
And when I go to the pit, we can only go so close, and I asked him why was I allowed to go closer to the pit, because it go right over in the hill. He said, well, you don't question me, because there's a lot of things that happen in this pit you might not want to see. Then if you see it, we're going to have to kill you for seeing it.
To do to you, and as I think about it, talk about it, I get nervous, but because I draw back on memories where I've been really beat, beat several times. I was abused. In fact, I was first beating I got was reckless eyeballing.
I know people's heard the stories. This is experience. This actually happened. This is real life that went on back in the earlier days, the 50s and 60s. If you was to beat a kid the way we was beat, you wouldn't get out of jail. You would be in jail the rest of your life. The leather strap, excuse me.
Did you see the pain in these men's faces? Can you imagine what they went through? But as you see that pain in their faces, I want you to actually hear from the abuser, Troy Tidwell. He was one of the abusers. They call him a facilitator, but I call him an abuser. I want you to listen to a little piece of his testimony.
Describe for us what kind of swing you would take with that leather strap that you described for us.
Well, me with one hand, I'd bring the strap back this way.
All right.
And come down.
So it would toward your shoulder with your right hand.
Yes.
You wouldn't take a full swing and maybe even nick the ceiling and come down and.
That would be somebody else that would use a different than I did.
You didn't ever take a full swing in beating the boys?
No.
Did others? Did Mr. Hatton?
Well, the tall people, that spanked them, they held the strap up like this, and come down.
They held the strap straight over their head and came down?
Well, the left hand would be holding the end of the strap, and the right hand, with the handle, and when they come down, about that much of the strap would go on one side of the buttocks,
Did you ever see anybody take a full swing like they were going to go over there and slam down on these boys?
That's the only way I saw it, was a tall Mr. Hatton or Mr. Mitchell holding the strap up like this.
So you saw Mr. Hatton and Mr. Mitchell hit boys with the strap?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Not
Absolutely amazing. Beating children wasn't really that bad to them. And as you hear him describe, he actually said that they had a handle that had to be held with both hands. And this is what they used to beat the children. In 1968, when the governor came, he outlawed, that type of punishment, corporal punishment. Do you think he was successful? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that continued. In 1982, there was another inspection that came along, and they found out that these kids were being hog-tied and isolated for weeks at a time. And a lot of these kids, they went on to commit other crimes, or even worse than that, small crimes that they was attached to while they was inside reform school. They had to serve the rest of their time inside the Jackson County Jail. And guess what was going on there? Those teens that was locked up, they were being handcuffed above their heads from the top of their jail cell for over an hour at a time. What kind of pain was that? That had to be excruciating. They finally closed the school down in 2011, and I'm surprised that I never heard about it. I'm outraged. I'm pissed the hell off. How in the world could American citizens be treated this way? Even though that they were black victims and white victims, The black numbers outweigh the white numbers when it comes to the people in the graveyard. To the babies in the graveyard, there were more black victims. I'm pretty sure I know why they're not saying anything. They don't want anyone to know exactly how cruel the United States are to their own citizens. It's probably because if you knew, you'd be pissed off, like I am. Think about the mental torture that these men went through and how they broke down real men. Do you know how the families suffered? Do you know how the children of these men suffered? Do the American politicians even give a damn about what kind of mindset they put on a new generation? You damaging these men in such a way comes back through their children. And America don't give one damn about us. You need to see what's going on in the world. This is bigger than weaves in somebody's hair. This is bigger than butt shots. This is bigger than somebody being ratchet on the street corner. Do you know what your country is doing? Are you cool with that? Don't you think something needs to be done about that? What amazes me is the ones with the voices, the popular people, the ones that claim they are just the top 10% in the world that are talented. These people that have the voice to reach masses, they'd rather you look to your left hand so you don't see what the right hand is doing. It makes me wonder, how was your popularity bought? And what master do you serve? Right now, the United States is preparing to start a war with the country that the American citizens are against. We're losing money left and right. Our kids are not being properly taught because there's no money to fund the schools. People are not being paid adequately enough to even take care of their children properly. There are so many things that are going on here in the United States. But we're so busy sending billions of dollars to other countries, funding more wars, and people are not giving a damn about things the way that we should. When we see that there's something wrong, why do we sit down and be quiet about it? Why don't we talk about it and turn focus to the things that are unfocused on? What's going on? What happened to the people of the 60s and the 70s, the ones that always thought that we should stand up for what's right and speak our minds? Damn what they say. Now we've turned into a whole bunch of zombies, thirsty for drama and beef, like leeches, waiting on the next fix. And giving a damn, not one single solitary damn, about who you leave on the wayside as you suck every bit of life that is meaningful out of them. We don't demand more. My grandma said a long time ago, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. And that's true. We're not demanding more. Remember when our entertainers used to stand and walk alongside our leaders? But now our leaders want to walk along and above. What's going on? Like drama zombies, entertainment fools. All we want to do is be entertained at the expense of someone else, to a point to where now we're desensitized to normal human emotion. This story right here pissed me off, and I want to do something about it. I'm going to continue checking on this story and seeing how deep this goes. I want to see if the federal government is going to get into this. I want to see exactly how far and how far-reaching this story is. That's all I have to say on this story for now. remember, I love you. Peace and blessings.